Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Toyo, for the introduction. Just like Toyo rightly said, my name is Eina Tochi, process engineer with Casper Technologies. So I'll be guiding us through the webinar topic today, mastering change, latest in 2024 security trends. So these are some of the housekeeping rules I would like to observe. Toyo, could you help me with the admission of members? So we are looking at the agenda for today, which cutting-edge security technologies. We are going to look at the proactive measures to stay ahead of this threat. We are also going to look at some key features of Sophos Firewall Operating System version 20, and also not less but not least is also why Sophos SGS Firewall. And we'll be closing with a question and answer. So let's move over to cutting-edge security. What does this mean? So obviously, basically, this is the use of the latest security trends. Sorry, my apologies. Let's add a face to the voice. Okay. So looking at cutting-edge security, what does this basically mean? So this is basically the use of the latest advanced security strategies, practices, and technologies in safeguarding our digital infrastructure and IT space. So as an IT manager, we are exposed to a lot of current attacks, and the implementation of some of these cutting-edge security technologies will help us stay ahead of this emerging and evolving cyber attacks. So we are also going to look at some of the key components of this cutting-edge security, which we have on our screen as artificial intelligence, machine learning. We have the ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access. We have the biometric authentication. We have the endpoint detection and response. So let's take this individually. Starting with the artificial intelligence and machine learning, we all could agree that artificial intelligence has taken, if not on the whole percentage of the IT space, it has taken deeper, and it's something that is not stopping at any time soon. So it's an artificial intelligence and machine learning. An IT manager is utilizing this for its real-time threat detection and also problem identification. So gone are those days where IT managers work over time, and at the end of the day, they are less productive. But with an artificial intelligence and machine learning, I can guarantee that an IT manager can go home, at least spend some little time for himself, and without having a distress call of incidents in his workplace. So we are looking at the ZTNA. Like we all know, ZTNA assumes no trust. So with an ZTNA implemented in an IT environment, it doesn't assume, okay, this could be my friend, this could assume every access into a network is a threat, and as well, a proper authentication and verification must be carried out before an access will be allowed. So we are looking at the biometric authentication, which obviously involve some of the regular fingerprint authentication, iris scanning. All these things goes beyond the physical perimeter-based model that we have all known to see in organizations. But with some of these advanced biometric authentication, we are self-assured that, okay, we even see this almost on a daily basis, be it airports, wherever. You can't just gain access without a proper biometric authentication. Now we are going over to the endpoint detection. So this is nothing but just the deploying of endpoint solutions for an IT manager to easily respond and to respond to potentially security incidents on his IT space. So with this all in place, so we are moving over to okay, we are moving over to our next agenda, which is the proactive. Sorry, a minute. Just. So with this in place, we are looking over to the proactive measures to stay ahead of these threats. So as an IT manager, yeah, it's always if you can see an IT manager and engage him, they will definitely tell you, yeah, I'm a proactive. I apply proactive measures in tackling my incidences, but that you only get to know if they are keeping to their words until an incident occurs. That's when you now ask, okay, what has been your proactive measures? You see that actually they have been reactive or they have been active measures. So with these proactive measures, we all know that it saves a lot of time and burden for an IT manager with a proactive approach. You can stay ahead of these emergent attacks. So some of these proactive measures, they include implementation of CTNA framework. So what does this actually mean? So I would say that like a ZTNA is like an upgrade from our regular remote access VPN. So, but because with this no assumption on before authorization, you can be assured that you are not having any loophole whatsoever in your IT space. So we have our regular patch management. So like we know, cyber attackers, they spend much time than we security managers in deploying their tactics and trends. So with a regular patch management and a proper firmware upgrade and operating system upgrade, you are bound sure that, okay, you are working with an updated and upgraded version of whatever tools that you are working with. Because for a patch to come out, obviously, maybe some SOC analysts must have identified some unusual anomalies of threats, and they put it through their older version and see that, okay, there have been some loopholes. These are the new ways these guys are gaining entry. So obviously the developers will come up with a patch to cover up that loop. So obviously the attacks are evolving. That's why also regular patches are also coming in. So we are having the employee training and awareness. So what does it mean? Somebody might say employees they are not in IT, they don't really need the expertise of knowing some of these trends. But believe you me that your employee biggest, I will still repeat, the biggest security, cyber security, and they also stand as the lifeline of defense to your network. So with an inadequate trained employee on some of these attacks like phishing mails and stuff, how do you expect your network to be stand when you have such employee under your payroll? Now we are looking at the advanced endpoint protection. So now with the rise in remote workers, so you can see that everybody is coming with their bring your own devices and IoT devices as well. So how do you protect these devices that is coming from the edge of your network? So imagine you have your servers protected, you have your internal perimeter protected, but you are giving out access to a worker in a remote area that have a compromised devices. For how long do you think that network can sustain the vulnerability that is coming on the edge of that network? So you see that you are more exposed than however you think that you are protected. So we move over to with this, we are looking at our next agenda, which is what's new in Sophos firewall operating system versions 20. So seen on our screen, we can see two interfaces. We have on the left, we have the version 19.5, and on your right, you can see another version 20, which is what we are currently discussing on. So I'll also urge and plead with whoever that is run on this program with us, and you are still running on version 19, we'll put you through on how you upgrade to the latest firmware upgrade, which could also ask for as your patch management for your organization. So aside these user interfaces, landing pages and login on Sophos Firewall version 20. There are also some improvements on user interfaces on some VPN enhancement, which is previously the user portal. So with this, we move over to some of the enhanced upgrade on the versions 20. So looking at our screen, we can see streamline management, or more like quality of life enhancement made on this supposed firewall version 20. We are looking at an object reference lookup, which what it simply does is its function is just to quickly identify where network objects are used in rules and policies. And we have an enhancement on your network interface, enable, disable, and also there is an enhancement on the Azure AD single sign-on. So looking at all these enhancements, I think we'll still go over to the lab to show us how some of these are implemented. So let's move over to active threat response, dynamic threat feed. So how does this active threat response work in a firewall version 20? So what this simply means is in an environment where you have managed endpoints, be it your server, access points, devices. So now automatically telemetry has been sent out to MDR or SDR, depending on what you're using. Now, this SOC analyst will now run a detailed check on whatever data coming out from those end devices. And automatically, once an anomaly is being detected, these anomalies are pushed to the firewall. And with this ATR response in place on the firewall, it will now have to now detect the particular system that is having this issue on it, and obviously
sorry, Tochi, someone said they cannot hear you, that your voice is breaking, so please, we'll need you to speak a little bit louder.
Oh, okay. So is it better now? Sorry, am I audible?
I think the audio is fine at my end. I don't know about the other person.
If we have some positive response.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Okay, so we have, okay, for the sake of the person, let's start from the streamline management. So I said earlier that in Sophos Firewall version 20, there's a lot of enhancements. One of them are under the category streamline management, which can also go as the quality of life enhancement. This includes some of the object reference lookup to quickly identify where network objects are used in your rules and policies without the need of navigating through your firewall to locate them. Now we have the need for network interface enable, disable enhancement. So this basically helps in disabling and enabling interfaces on firewall without losing configuration, especially for the interfaces that are not currently used. Now we have the Azure AD single sign-on. So this enhancements works on Azure AD obviously by adding user authentication on the captive portal using their Azure AD credentials, and also a new group import options for group policies. This is for the admins, and adding user groups, importation of user group on the Azure using the user's AD credentials, and at the same time assigning them rollback access control. So with this, we move over to the automated threat response, which under it we have some enhanced features on the active threat response. We have the dynamic feed, we have the synchronized IOC telemetry. So on the ATR, the active threat response. So the explanation on this is simple. Now you have an environment being managed by different devices, be it your endpoint, your switches, your access points. Now, every data coming out from them are being first examined by your MDR or SDR SOC analyst. And once an anomaly is being detected, it's being pushed to the firewall for an action to be taken. And what action does that firewall take? The firewall now has to locate the exact endpoint, having that incident alert, and a red heartbeat is being placed on it. So to stop whatever, and automatically the firewall open the lateral movement protection so that it discommunicates the infected endpoint from having access to other healthy endpoint until this security heartbeat is restored to green. So we are having the active threat feed. So now this is basically the source of threat intelligence that the firewall uses to auto block threat-related traffic. This it means that dynamically it can also collect information from third-party threat feeds to integrate with the active threat responses. So we are also looking at the synchronized security IOC indicator of compromised telemetry. So any Sophos managed endpoint attempting to communicate with a host logged by active threat response will be queried using a synchronized security for insight, just like I said. So whatever endpoint that is trying to that is affected, that is trying to communicate with other hosts, will be queried using the heartbeat, the security heartbeat to navigate. So looking at the picture on our screen, we can see the diagram of how this works. So you can see here we have endpoint devices, you have your switch, your servers, devices, access points that is sending out telemetry to the threat feed. These threats will be detected with the MDR or SDR. So now these threat feed are now in the CENTRON, move over to the Sophos firewall. So from here, this is where the lateral movement of any infected devices will be detected and blocked automatically for further spread of whatever that is that is as an issue on the device from passing through the network. So with this, we move over to the network scalability and the network enhancements. So we are looking at the introduction of some IPv6 enhancements. This uses some several enhancements to support IPv6, including DHCP version 6 and border gateway version 6 routing that enable improve IPv6 connectivity. So to your LAN network using your IPv6 IPv Internet Protocol version 6. So we are looking at SD1. So SD1 obviously is the software-defined wide area network. So which in turn is like an upgrade on our MPLS. So with this third-party SD1 integration, we are sure that traffic can be seamlessly transferred to a high-performance backbone network of let's say Cloudflare, Akamai, or Azure. So what this actually means is, of course, MPLS being used as like a connectivity for offices for their remote devices, and an SD1 coming in as a replacement. Now SD1 is coming out as a replacement because of it's been flexible, it's agile, and it's even cost effective compared to implementation of the MPLOS solution. So now, with this third-party SD-WAN integration, companies can remove and has a very strong network connectivity. So with that, we also move over to site-to-site VPN enhancement. So this enhancement to VPN, including IPsec connections, stateful headover, failover, FNMP status visibility, this and this. So we also look at another enhancement, which is remote worker protection. So, and this was with SAS, which stands for Secure Access Service Edge Capabilities. Now we are having a new integration in Sophos Firewall, the ZTNA Gateway integration. So with a ZTNA Gateway now integrated with Sophos Firewall, it enables for easy and secure remote access to on-premise devices. So we also have third-party SD-WAN, like I said earlier. We also have Sophos DNS protection, which is a new domain name resolution service with compliance and security feature that is really supported by Sophos Firewall. So now I would like we look over our lab so that we can see how some of these things work. Okay, so of course, this is our landing page. Like I said earlier, so for every user still running on version 19.5.
We are still seeing your PowerPoint.
So, that's enough.
I think you should stop sharing and start sharing.
That's what I want to do. My screen up. PowerPoint. I believe it's all now. Okay. Sorry for the technical glitch. So, like I said earlier, this is the landing page for the Sophos Firewall version 20. So for every user still running on version 19 can leverage the option of firmware upgrade. Okay. So like I said earlier, we can leverage the option of upgrade by going to our backup and firmware, go over to firmware. And here you can search for new firmware version if peradventure you are not seeing the latest firmware version available. So you can see on my screen that my Sophos version 20 is active and running. So there's other ways you can navigate this upgrade through the central. So to navigate to your central dashboard, you can go under your licensing, and let's okay. So looking at our central dashboard, so to run the firmware upgrade from the central, you can just navigate to your profile menu, down to your licensing, and you check your firewall license. And from your firewall license, you can toggle this button, and you can see firmware download. So from here, you can run your firmware upgrade as well. So with this in place, we look at the object reference lookup, like I said earlier. So this can be achieved. You can see under hosts and services. So what this means that every object configured on this firewall, in whatever rules and policies they are located. So rather than looking for them randomly, you can choose to come to host and services. For all these objects, you can see the usage count, like how many times it has been used, wherever it has been used on this firewall. So once you click on it, it will automatically take you to wherever the rules and policies are. So we also looked at okay, user. So we use that active threat response. So with all these, the benefits of this active threat responses, no much rules and policies are needed for configuration. So once you come under your active threat and response, you can easily come under the MDRA threat feed and just toggle the button for threat feed. So once this button is toggled on and applied, obviously you are getting a message on your control center. So whenever there's any threat identification, you get the notification on your control center and immediate action will be taken. That's if you are running under manual detection and response, or you're using your local SOC team. So with this, we move over to the the next enhancement, which is the VPN improvement. So just like the landing pages on the Sophos firewall, there's also a user interface experience and on the VPN portal. So before now, this used to be the user portal, but after the firmware upgrade, we noticed that a new enhancement has been added in the form of VPN portal. So how does this operate? Even from your control center, there's a notification telling you that functionalities on the user portal has been moved to the VPN portal. So when you look at the widget under the messages, you can see an alert indicating that all the VPN functionalities has been moved from the user portal, to the VPN portal. So what does this entail? It entails that every configuration running under user portal is now being inherited by this VPN portal. And from here, you can hold on. You can see the inheritance on the port, on the MFA settings. So, all right. So looking at this dashboard under administration, you can see the VPN portal that I'm talking about. Earlier, we have only this column, user portal. You can see that it has an identical configuration checkboxes with the VPN portal. So with this in place, you are not supposed to be afraid, because whatever configuration you have on your user portal is also currently running as intended on the VPN portal as well. So let's move over to Sophos firewall and the new SGS series. So what this is telling us is like a reminder of the impending, in fact, the obvious that we know. So what does this imply? It implies that the SG buses will be going end of life by March 2025. So I think it's best that we leverage the opportunity of migration without being facing further issues with the late migration. So looking under the SGS series, we look at the new device. We look at the series, the model that it comes in, and we also look at the licensing. So on our screen, we can see different pictures of
we're still seeing the firewall interface. So just unshare and share again.
Okay. So sorry for the glitch. So we are looking at the SGS series and what's new in HCS. So what this implies is our new SG buses will be going end of life by March 2025, and it's best to leverage this opportunity to do our seamless migration ahead of time. So on the SG buses, looking on our screen, we can see different models and series on the screen. So on the screen, you can see we have the desktop appliances, we have the 1U rack, we have the 2U rack. So what's different from this SGS bus from the SG buses? So SGS buses definitely a total upgrade. They might look alike from the outside, but I believe me, they bear little or no resemblance from the inside, because these SGS buses, they are running on two processors. So with even one extreme flow processor dedicated to traffic handling, so that the burden on the CPU will be lesser. So you can imagine how fast your configuration will be responding. Then we look at the port interfaces. Now these SGS buses some come with the SFP ports, especially with the desktop models. They come with on the 2U rack. You can notice on that came with RAID storage for flexi ports and also network interface card expansion ports. So we look at some of these series individually. Now on the series, we have the desktop models, obviously for the small and medium businesses. We have the 1U rack, which is for the distributed. Now we also have the 2U rack, which is also for the enterprise. So some of the models under this desktop models, obviously the SGS 87, we have the 107, 116, up until 136. And the benefit of the desktop model is it comes with both wireless and non-wireless. So, and aside the SGS 87, they actually came with one source of power output. Now, we are looking at the 1U rack models. So obviously, this is an upgrade on the a bigger machine to the desktop models. So this 1U rack obviously have an extended port interfaces, flexi port for your interface connectivity. We also notice more interfaces on our 2U rack, so which even have spaces for the RAID storage, flexi ports, and also network card expansion base. So with this model, you know that you are going for a bigger upgrade from your current SG buses. Now, on our screen, we can see some of the direct migration from the SG to SG bus. So, but don't be scared if I should use the word, because most times SG bus has been a bigger upgrade on SG series. So most times your configurations on the SG buses will determine the SG S series that you'll be going for. So, but here we can see like a direct replacement on, you can see the SG 106 is going directly for SGS 107 till we get to the last of it, the 650 and all. So, but like I said, you can put a call across and we can advise you more on your workload. Your workload will depend on exact migration that you'll be going for. So we'll be discussing on the licensing as well. So looking at the licensing, we have a different licensing plan for the SGS bus. We have the standard protection, which comprises your base license, network protection, web, and enhanced support. Of course, the extreme protection. Now, with an extreme protection, you are getting a standard protection with some added, with some add-ons on exactly the 0-day and the central orchestration. So why go for a standard when you can leverage on your extreme? So, and also there is provision for protection so separately, where you can make the use or purchase of maybe one of these individual purchase, like your base, your network protection, web. You can go for any of these protection individually. So for any difficulties in understanding your migration and your licensing in whatever way it will be, so I will suggest that we are call away so that we can guide you through, and even with your migration from your SGS, from your SG to SGS, I assure you that it's a seamless migration. So that's why we are here at Casper Technologies. So at this stage, I will entertain your questions, if any.
All right, thank you very much, Tochi, for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure there'll be questions, so we can unmute ourselves and ask questions. Thank you very much, Tochi. Okay, you can also use the chat box. I think, okay, Eric, do you have a question?
I wanted to ask if the old SG license can work with if your license say if you can still work with the new SGS.
Please, can you repeat yourself?
If you are using the SGS, I mean the SG, can the license work with the new one with the SGS? Do you get that? Did you get it? I'm asking that if you are using an SG,
okay,
can your license work with the new one, with the upgrade?
All right, okay. If you are transferring your license from the like for like, that's the replacement model. I get me, sir. Then yes, it can be transferred.
So as it transfer to the SGS modem, to the new.
So what XG model are you using?
Currently, I'm using an SG, but I don't know I've not checked the model. Maybe I will check the model when I go to, but because it's an SG device. So we are moving to SGS. Can the license still work? That's what I want to be sure. I just want to ask.
Okay, so we'll have to go through, we'll have to maybe set up a meeting, we'll see the type of XG you are using. Yeah, then the type you are transferring to. Yeah, so we'll be able to advise you accordingly. But we advise customers, if you are, let's say, for example, you are using the XG210 and you want to upgrade to the XGS 2100, yes, that is possible. But in a situation where you are scaling in terms of size, you are increasing numbers, then we'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
So the recording will be shared, and we'll also be sending out questionnaires. Please, we'd like everybody to participate and to fill that, so we can know how we can take it up from there.
Okay. Another thing again, will this slide be shared? Hello?
Yes, the slide, you mean the slide, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the slide can be shared. Yeah, it can be shared. And yes, it will be shared by the accounts manager for the company you represent. Just reach out to the person and that'll be shared to you. But because not everything is part of the slide, we also did a live section where we log on to our own environments here. So if you also want that to be captured in everything, we'll just share the recording so you can watch everything over and see the upgrade in the version 20. And if you also need assistance for the firmware upgrade, yeah, we can also call me to see how we can assist with that. But for those that want to do it by themselves, we advise for you to try this upgrade maybe during close of business when it's not going to affect business the most, because it can lead to maybe like 5 minutes or less downtime when it's rebooting.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, but I would like to get that recording, so I'll watch that part again.
Okay, that will be shared.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Do we have any other questions? So we'll be able to, we promise to be done by 12 or before 12. So before we wrap up. In the absence of none, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for being part of this webinar. Do have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Thank you.